Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Diandra, and today I will be explaining about the MOYERS analysis. So, first, what is the MOYERS analysis? The MOYERS analysis is a mixed dentition space analysis method used in orthodontics to predict the size of unerupted permanent canines and premolars based on the mesiodistal width of erupted permanent mandibular incisors. What is the purpose of Moyer's analysis? First, it is to assess whether a child's dental arch has sufficient space for permanent teeth that have not yet erupted, especially like the canines and the premolars. It is also to decide on orthodontic interventions like first the space maintenance or regaining. Space maintenance is when a primary tooth is lost too early, the adjacent teeth may drift into the space, and the reducing the space available for the permanent tooth. So the Moore's analysis helps determine whether the space is critical to maintain. If the prediction shows that the future teeth will be large, the space must be preserved with a space maintainer, while the space regaining, if a space was already lost and the analysis shows future crowding, then the orthodontist might choose to regain space using appliances like a lip bumper, distalizing springs, or headgear. It is also to plan for serial extraction or selective tooth removal, and also for the eruption guidance. So if a tooth is delayed or impacted, Moore's analysis can help determine whether lack of space is the cause. And if sufficient space is present, eruption might occur naturally. Next, how does the Moore's analysis work, or how do we do the Moore's analysis? So first, we will need to find the space required, which is by first measuring the width of mandibular left lateral incisor. Here, for example, it is 7 millimeter. And second, we measure the width of mandibular left central incisor, for example, 6 millimeter. Measure the mandibular right central incisor, for example, 6 millimeter. Measure the mandibular right lateral incisor, for example, 6 millimeter. And we will add up all the numbers from the previous measurement. In here, it is 25 millimeter, and we will put the sum in Moore's prediction table to know the predicted width of the canine and premolars. So looking at the chart, we can see that if the total mandibular incisor width is 25 millimeter, then the predicted width of the canine and premolars is 23.4 millimeter. And to know the space required, we will add up the width of the mandibular incisors and the predicted width of canines and premolars. For example, from the previous measurement, it will be then 25 plus 23.4 plus 23.4, which is equals to 71.88 millimeter. And we will also need to find the space available by measuring the arch perimeter that is taken in segments. First segment is to measure the width from the left canine to the left mandibular second premolar. For example, is 24 millimeter. We will also measure the second segment, which is from the left central and left lateral incisor, for example, 10.5 millimeter. We will measure the third segment, which is from the right central and right lateral incisor, for example, 8.5 millimeter. We will also measure the fourth segment, which is from the right canine and the right second premolar, for example, is 24 millimeter. And we will then add these segments, and this will be the space available. So for example, from the previous measurement, it will be 24 millimeter plus 10.5 millimeter plus 8.5 millimeter plus 24 millimeter equals to 67 millimeter. And we also need to find the arch length discrepancy by the formula is space available minus by the space required. So for example, is 67 millimeter minus by 71.8 millimeter equals to negative 4.8 millimeter, which means that there is not enough space in the dental arch to accommodate the erupting permanent teeth. And in this case, the child has a 4.8 millimeter crowding in the arch, which indicates that orthodontic intervention is needed. And there are also some advantages of the Moore's method. First is there is no need for an x-ray. It is quick and simple. It requires only basic tools like a ruler or caliper, and also the prediction chart that we used before. It can also be used by both beginners and experts. It applies to both the maxillary and also the mandibular arches, and it can be done in the mouth or on the dental casts. But aside from the advantages, there is also, of course, the limitation of using the MOYERS method. First, the MOYERS method is developed from a Caucasian population, which means that it may not be accurate if we use it for children of other ethnic backgrounds because tooth sizes can actually vary between population. Next, the prediction is statistical. It is not exact for each individual, so it might be slightly off for some individual patients. And last, it is not suitable if there is any abnormal teeth or eruption. So if a child has a missing, an extra, or an abnormally shaped teeth, or teeth erupt out of order, the prediction might not work well. And it works best with normal tooth developments. So that is all for my explanation about the MOYERS method. Thank you so much.